Imagine standing in a crowded city plaza, watching buildings sway in the distance, not from an earthquake, but from the fear that these urban giants could crumble on their own. In 2025, residents from Luzon to Mindanao whisper about tipping points, sinking land, swollen bay waters, angry volcanoes, and failing infrastructure. The sense of dread is real. One wrong storm or misstep, and we could see familiar skylines wiped out. So we have to ask you, which city do you think is on the edge of disaster? Let us know in the comments below. And here's a teaser. One of the cities on our list might surprise you by not falling apart. Which one could defy the odds? Stay tuned to find out as we explore the top 10. Number 1. Manila. Metro Manila, home to nearly 13 million people, sinks and floods like nowhere else. Studies warn the city is subsiding about 20 millimeters a year, roughly 10 times faster than sea level rise. Built on reclaimed bay and delta plains, even modest storms turn busy streets into rivers. Broken drainage, clogged canals, and sprawling slums worsen every downpour. Pollution and heat stress choke the metropolis. Many joke that Manila's real landmarks are the potholes and manholes flooding cars. Serious voices point out that climate change supercharges its typhoons and monsoon rains. In short, Manila is a ticking time bomb of overpopulation, old infrastructure, and rising waters. Yet there are massive efforts to fight back. The government recently earmarked over 254 billion Philippine pesos, 4.6 billion United States dollars, for flood control projects in 2025 alone. Walls and pumping stations are being built along the Pasig, Marikina, and Pampanga rivers. Officials also highlight cleanup drives in Manila Bay and restored wetlands to absorb storm surges. Local quip: we might need flood insurance for our flood insurance. For now, though, the danger isn't gone. Metro Manila's fate may hinge on how fast these mega projects finish versus the next big storm. Next, let's move north to Quezon City. Number 2. Quezon City. Quezon City, Luzon's largest city, packs over 3 million residents on 161 square kilometers. It faces all hazards at once: blistering heat waves, annual typhoons, and flash floods. Traffic jams are legendary. Informal hillside settlements hug unstable slopes, and smog hangs in the air. Climate change makes QC even hotter and rains more intense. In a city where nearly every road can become an urban river, locals joke that navigating rush hour feels like kayaking. Despite this, the city is aggressively building resilience. Quezon City joined the International Resilient Cities Network in 2025 and has invested in modern early warning systems and evacuation protocols. The mayor promotes a circular economy, recycling programs, more green spaces, and energy-efficient buildings to ease resource stress. Community gardens and rainwater collection are sprouting in neighborhoods. In short, QC has recognized its problems and is fighting back with planning and community action. Next, we climb to the cooler air of Baguio City. Number 3. Baguio City. Perched on a mountain rim, Baguio was meant for 25,000 people, but now hosts approximately 400,000 residents, with an extra 1.3 million tourists each year. The summer capital can barely cool itself. Its roads are jammed, water taps run dry at night, and trash piles up after festivals. Rampant development has stripped nearby forests, making landslides and flash floods a growing threat during typhoons. Even rare earthquakes pose risk. A quake could send the whole slope sliding. In many slum areas, flimsy homes perch precariously on eroded hillsides. Baguio residents wryly note that even the pine trees might sweat if summers get hotter. All these stresses mean Baguio's resilience is stretched thin. Still, Baguio is fighting back with green innovations. The city has launched a sweeping circular economy program for waste and water management. Households now separate recyclables and compost organic scraps, and single-use plastics have been banned in markets. Early results are promising. Trash volumes have dropped by up to 75%, and hauling costs are way down. Even laboratory-style solutions are used. They breed black soldier fly maggots to turn food waste into fertilizer. An EU-funded partnership is helping Baguio turn yesterday's garbage into new products. At the same time, city engineers are mapping all deep wells and springs to secure more water supply with ADB assistance, and reforestation drives are underway on bare slopes. The mayor jokes that in Baguio, even our compost pile is growing an economy. If these efforts scale up, maybe the city can stave off the decay Nida warned about. Up next, we head southeast to Legazpi City. Number 4. Legazpi City. In the shadow of majestic Mount Mayon, Legazpi is picturesque, but also dangerous. Mayon is the Philippines' most active volcano, ready to blow, with little warning. A violent eruption could hurl pyroclastic flows and lahars, volcanic mudflows, that incinerate or bury anything in their path. In 1814, a church tower, the Cagayan Bell, was all that survived one massive blast. Nearly 27,000 villagers live inside Mayon's 6-kilometer permanent danger zone because their farms and homes leave them no choice. Hurricanes add insult to injury. Legazpi also faces seasonal typhoons, heavy rains, and landslides. In short, every household here stays one alert text from disaster. A local quip puts it, "We always head to the beach, so if Mayon sneezes, we have a nice view." The government is painfully aware of these risks. Provincial and city plans for decades have urged families to relocate out of high-risk areas and invest in livelihood programs for them. For example, Albay's framework plan explicitly states, "Settlements must be discouraged in the permanent danger zone of Mount Mayon." Today, housing lots are being prepared for relocated villagers, and evacuation shelters dot the countryside. 5 volcs scientists maintain round-the-clock monitoring, and citizens have practiced drills so often they barely raise an eyebrow at red alerts. Local humor even arose around installing volcano glow lights, deemed impractical. After all, no one needs a night tour of glowing lava. Still, if another big eruption or storm hits with enough ferocity, Legazpi's fate may again hang by a thread. Now let's fly to the Visayas for our next stop, Cebu City. Number 5. Cebu City. Cebu City is a dense metropolis on a narrow peninsula, and it floods too easily. Even moderate rain brings knee-deep pools to streets that have trouble draining. Rapid urban growth has funneled more water into a bottleneck. Concrete cover and clogged gutters mean the usual summer rains now burst into chaotic flash floods. In recent years, climate scientists have flagged Cebu for heavier downpours and hotter summers. One report noted that any more rainfall in Cebu's lagoons and rivers can't cope. Commuters half joke that driving on the streets now feels like a water park ride, while shopkeepers stack sandbags outside their doors. In short, Cebu's drain system is centuries old, but climate pressures are brand new, a recipe for disaster. To respond, Cebu officials are belatedly rolling out a master drainage plan and new flood control projects. They've tripled road runoff drains since 2020 and are building large retention basins upstream. Plans include check dams and gabion walls high in the hills to slow down flash floods. The city also formed a task force to clear illegal structures from waterways and enforce no-build zones on riverbanks. One bureaucrat complains, "We fix one clogged canal, 2 pop up somewhere else." Still, projects move slowly amid competing needs. Electricity poles are still lying in lakes of water, testimony to the scope of the problem. In a wry nod to the irony, some Cebuanos quip, "If it keeps raining like this, the city might rename itself Sea Parentine." Crossing to Panay Island now. Next up, Iloilo City. Number 6. Iloilo City. Iloilo City sprawls along the mouth of 2 rivers and the Panay coast. Its low-lying barangays are flooding magnets. Every typhoon or monsoon surge sends brackish water sluicing through town. Half the city rests on former wetlands. Informal settlements have mushroomed on every available plot, including tidal flats, with very little infrastructure. Over-extraction of groundwater has caused sinking in parts of the basin, and with seas rising, many worry that sectors of Iloilo could face chronic, high-tide flooding soon. Locals have begun joking that bicycle deliveries should come with flotation devices. Like elsewhere, heavy rains overwhelm drains choked with garbage, and sewage spills into streets. But Iloilo's leaders aren't waiting for the deluge. Last year, the city government unveiled a coastal resource management plan, 2024 to 2028, to tackle precisely these threats. The plan engages communities in all 26 coastal barangays to restore mangroves, clean waterways, and police pollution. One project even trains fisherfolk to replant coral reefs as natural wave breaks. Under this framework, each barangay council will coordinate waste reduction and habitat protection, aiming to keep erosion and dumping in check. Officials also built new flood walls along the Iloilo River and expanded pumping stations. In true Ilonggo humor, some residents now install flood currents maps in their homes, just like meter readings. The key test will be the next superstorm. Thanks to these efforts, Iloilo might just weather it better than in the past. Our final Visayas stop is Tacloban City. Number 7. Tacloban City. Tacloban rebuilds in the shadow of Haiyan. In November 2013, Super Typhoon Haiyan, Yolanda, smashed directly into this coastal city, flattening homes and killing over 6,000 Filipinos. A decade later, Tacloban is more cautious but remains highly exposed. Studies warn storms are becoming stronger and wetter, and predict Tacloban's low-lying districts could be submerged by century's end if trends continue. Most distressingly, tens of thousands of survivors simply rebuilt in the same danger zones. One veteran shopkeeper admits, "Even after a storm, they say, 'I will survive,' and stay put along the seawall." Government pledges to relocate everyone to safe ground largely fell short. Of the 205,000 homes promised, only about 25,000 were built by late 2016. Today, countless families still live on stilts right on the shore, in makeshift houses cobbled together from corrugated iron and wood, joking that our stilts are the latest beachfront design. What has improved is resilience on a smaller scale. Tacloban now has dozens of typhoon shelters and an advanced warning system. NGOs have reforested many of the surviving mangrove buffers around the city. Some neighborhoods built concrete evacuation bunkers and raised roads. Locals practice storm drills to a fault. However, until more homes are truly moved out of harm's way, Tacloban stays perilously close to calamity. Elderly veterans of Haiyan often say with a rueful smile, "Every time it rains, we get scared all over again." Switching islands now, we head south to Mindanao, Cagayan de Oro. Number 8. Cagayan de Oro. Cagayan de Oro lies in a broad coastal plain at the mouth of the Cagayan River, and its memory still haunts. In 2011, Typhoon Washi, Sendong, unleashed an unprecedented flash flood on Christmas night, killing over 1,200 people here. Whole barangays were swept away in an instant. Experts say climate change is making such deluges more likely. Since then, Oroños have done a massive rebuild, but scars remain. By midnight, a flash storm can turn any neighborhood into a raging torrent, breeding panic. Locals still talk about seeing backpacks and motorcycles float past their homes like debris in a stream. The national government poured money into flood defenses. From 2019 to 2023, an 8.5 billion peso, $144 million project built 12 kilometers of new dikes and drainage along the riverbanks to protect about 614 hectares of city land. But in the rush, environmentalists warn too many trees were cleared. Satellite surveys show about 26 hectares of mangroves and forest were wiped out to build the embankments, which could make future floods run faster. The city's engineers acknowledge this trade-off and say they're now planting tens of thousands of mangrove seedlings to compensate. Residents half joke that if they have to build banks to hold back the flood, they might as well open a waterslide world. For now, the question is whether Cagayan de Oro's new dikes and soon-to-be restored forests will be enough. The city is safer than before, but not yet bulletproof. Continuing in Mindanao, Davao City. Number 9. Davao City. Davao City is famous for its lush avenues and as President Duterte's hometown, but it has its own crisis brewing. It was already identified in 1991 as one of the country's 9 water-critical cities. Fast forward to today, and Davao's population, over 1.7 million, has outgrown its water supply. Studies project its demand will grow from 108 million cubic meters in 2016 to 164 million cubic meters by 2031. Drip-drip brownouts in high-rise taps are not rare. Residents complain about waiting an hour just to fill a bucket. Over-extraction of groundwater has started to lower the water table. To make matters worse, Davao is no stranger to heavy rains and landslides. In early 2024, a catastrophic landslide hit nearby Davao de Oro, killing almost 100 people. In short, Davao risks both flood and drought at once. A joking comment among locals is, "In Davao, your umbrella is for rain, but carry a canteen just in case." The city is tackling this head-on. In January 2024, the Davao City Bulk Water Supply Project began operations. This is a huge deal. A 300 million liter per day pipeline, tapping new water from Talanga Dam, supplies over 1 million people. It means less dependence on groundwater, letting aquifers recharge. Davao Water District and Aboitiz's Apo Agua are also investing in new reservoirs and leak detection. On the flood side, the city continues to repair and widen drainages and reforest upland watersheds to slow rain runoff. Mayor Sara Duterte even pledged to source 90% of metro water needs from sustainable sources. Locals like to quip, "At least in Davao, our showers are never constant." The real hope is that these mega projects keep pace. If they do, Davao might dodge the collapse bullet that other cities fear. Final stop, Zamboanga City. Number 10. Zamboanga City. Zamboanga in the far south is a patchwork of coastal communities, but it grapples with basic sanitation and flooding issues. Shocking as it sounds, a 2020 survey found nearly 18.8% of households have no sanitary toilet at all. Many poor families live in wooden stilt houses right by the sea, on islands like Tacloban and Gimbal, where septic tanks, if installed, often have broken walls. During heavy rain, raw sewage and floodwater mingle freely in the streets. City engineers admit that almost no wastewater is treated. Drains are undersized and plugged with garbage, so even a short downpour leaves streets ankle-deep. In short, every storm is a public health risk. A local saying goes, "In Zamboanga, when it rains, we literally flush the city." Officials have at last begun remedying this long-neglected problem. A new city ordinance now requires 2-chamber, watertight septic tanks for every building that disposes of sewage. Plans are underway for septage treatment centers to clean the hall from township toilets. NGOs and youth groups run regular coastal cleanups and mangrove planting drives, trying to rebuild the natural buffer against storm surges. Even the fire department has jokingly offered free pump rentals to any flooded household. But funding is tight. "We'll fix half the city," one mayoral aide quips, "if someone finds the other billion pesos." Critics warn much more investment is needed. As Zamboanganos joke darkly, "At least we don't need water guns. The city is already one big water trap." These 10 cities share a grim theme: environmental stress tests that would unnerve any planner. From Manila Bay's sinking capital to typhoon and volcano-battered cities like Tacloban and Legazpi, the risks are diverse yet interconnected. Overcrowding, failing drainage, polluted rivers, and even water shortages add to the peril. In every case, clever mitigation is underway. Massive flood projects in Manila, circular waste programs in Baguio, and new pipelines in Davao are real steps toward safety. But the clock is ticking. Which city on our list will surprise everyone by holding together, and which could slip through the cracks? We want to hear your thoughts. Which city shocked you the most? Or did we overlook another that's quietly crumbling? Join the conversation below. Your comment could spark ideas for solutions. After all, when one city falters, the whole nation feels the tremor. Let us know where you stand, and keep these questions alive. Are our cities prepared for 2025? Or are we just one storm away from catastrophe?